Hello, everyone. It's Dr. Fred. Fred Moss is my name, and it is a deep and honest and privileged pleasure to be here this afternoon to actually speak with you about something that is near and dear to my heart. And if it's not near and dear to your heart, it certainly should be. We're looking at the future of mental health, the not only long distance future and not only remote future, but the immediate future of mental health. And mental health is up for a paradigm shift that it should have had many years ago. So it's been ready and it's been rather broken for some time. But the notion of having an actual paradigm shift has been very threatening to the industry. We're at a space now in our life challenge, however, where a paradigm shift is not only necessary, but it's inevitable. And that inevitable paradigm shift is being caused by none less than artificial intelligence, or as we affectionately know it as AI. So we're talking about ChatGPT and Claude and Bard and literally hundreds, if not thousands, of other pieces of software that are utilizing AI. The average IQ of AI is well over 500, which is much smarter than any human that has ever walked the face of the earth. And its level of immediacy is also outstanding. So it can deliver results like instantaneously in things that used to take humans a big bunch of people many, many months to complete. AI can actually do that now. And I know most of you know this in anywhere between 5 and 30 seconds. So I ask you, what is the impact of AI on our mental health? And what is the impact of our mental health on AI? So we start looking at the powers of AI moving forward. There is diabolical powers, of course. Some of us are worried that AI is going to replace humanity. And indeed, AI could reach a point where humanity, the actual human, is irrelevant in some ways to this birth species that we're calling AI. And that's a really frightening, a rather terrifying notion that AI wouldn't need humanity anymore. It can just run the world as it is. That's one way to look at it. And our mental health has something to do with what direction that goes in. So our collective mental health, if we create programs to give AI that kind of mighty strength, we can expect AI to actually maybe replace us or maybe even create an adversarial relationship with us. And there might be some people out there who have an agenda to actually make that happen. So our mental health as a collective unity of humanity has to take into consideration, what do we want from this superpower known as AI? What do we want for humanity? What do we want for Earth? What do we want for life? What do we want for the universe? What are we looking for? What are we going to be enchanted by or entertained by? And what are we going to be educated by? And what are we going to be, what are we going to be notified by? And what are we going to learn? And why do we want to learn it? What is the intended outcome of actually interfacing with AI? Our mental health collectively will create what AI is. But AI in and of itself is already altering our mental health, because we have a species now that is way smarter than us that we have birthed. Never before in humanity has humanity had to deal with that, other than maybe some people who would, maybe accurately believe that the divinity or the eternity or the infinity or the force or God is the force that is smarter and much more ubiquitous than all of us, and has all the answers that we wish we had. However, it's never been at our fingertips, and although some people certainly firmly believe that, there are others who are skeptical about it, whereas being skeptical about AI being present doesn't really work, because it's here for real and on the ground and doing its work and doing its damage and creating its own magic. So with the interface between AI and mental health is very important as AI gets out of the gates. But we start looking at the back end as well. And what do I mean by the back end? What is in the future if AI is allowed to run mental health? Meaning, if we start counting on AI to determine which humans are normal, which humans are keepable, which humans are disposable, which humans need to go into a institution, which humans need to be diagnosed, what is the criteria for declaring a human suboptimal. If we leave this up to a machine, there are so many implications that it's hard to count. This is the idea of weakening our adversary, for instance. If AI decides to weaken their adversary, us humans, they could do that without very much difficulty by determining which humans are allowed to stay. Now, that's a fairly nefarious and fairly pessimistic view, skeptical view of the future. But another point is that AI gets to determine what's normal. And very soon, we're going to be counting on machines to at least assist us as a primary consultant, us diagnosers, us doctors. I'm a doctor. I've been a psychiatrist for over 30 years, as you can see by the ticker tape below me. And the whole notion that we are going to need to have AI in order to make an adequate diagnosis is also frightening in its own right. The other thing that's really important to get is that we then get to utilize AI as a treatment protocol. We get to utilize AI as how are we going to intervene with people who we determine are malfunctioning or imbalanced or dysfunctioning. And that's also a very tricky interface. So the future is upon us, and the future of the paradigm shift that we're looking for is right here, right now. We start looking again at all the implications of the interface between artificial intelligence and humanity. And in some ways, it's crazy making in its own right. And I use that word crazy making affectionately, but you can see that by using that word crazy making, it can drive humanity crazy. The idea is, who are we to AI, and what is AI, or who is AI to us? Is AI even close, or does it meet the criteria for being a sentient being, for being something that we need to respect as if it is a living object? Or is it something that runs amok and isn't a living object, and we just kind of treat it like the mechanical junk, like we might treat our automobile or other mechanics that we have, making sure that we clean it every so often, or, we don't get into our car and thank our car for doing what it does. But it may be really important to thank AI so that we can train it to be appreciative, cooperative, and responsive to human desires, so that we can work together with this incredible force that's emerging into society, ready to make a difference that far exceeds anything anyone can imagine. Hence the whole notion of singularity, which sits on the other side of where we are now. But maybe we're not so far from singularity, the point for which we have no capacity to predict what is going to happen on the other side. If we're there, AI will have an intimate function, an intimate contribution to bringing us there. And it's really time to look at AI and mental health. So I invite you to visit my website, aimeetsmentalhealth.com. That's aimeetsmentalhealth.com, because I am having a mastermind that I'm creating with some of the geniuses around the world as we look at this interface and recreate what it means to be mentally healthy and what it means to be mentally unhealthy, using AI properly and ethically into the future, so that it isn't allowed to move through its default into the amok. Instead, it is our responsibility, our accountability urgently to take hold of this entire bird species and make sure that we send it off in the right direction rather than where it will go if we just let it go on its own. Thank you very much for having me on the show today, and thank you for watching. It's been a deep and honest pleasure. I'd like to thank Shelley Harrison, and it's really a pleasure to work with luminary leaders. My issue at this point is it's time for me to leave. I wish I didn't have to leave and I could answer a bunch of questions, but it is time for me to leave, and I look forward to our future contact in the near future. Thanks again. It's Dr. Fred signing off. Have a beautiful day, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Bye for now.